Sofronio Vasquez stood under the spotlight, his name echoing across the stage as confetti rained down, a moment he never thought possible. His emotional performances of Sia's Unstoppable and The Greatest Showman's A Million Dreams had left both the audience and coaches spellbound. The first Filipino-born winner of The Voice, Sofronio clutched his coach Michael B. in a tearful embrace, his dream now a reality. Back home, his family celebrated while honoring his late father's memory at his gravesite, making the victory even more profound. But what exactly did this history-making champion receive for his breathtaking journey to the top? What was the life-changing reward that came with the title? Sofronio Vasquez's journey to stardom didn't begin on a stage under bright lights. It began in the humble surroundings of Mindoro, Philippines, where he grew up with next to nothing. Sofronio often said his family didn't even have basic comforts like a bed or indoor plumbing. But what they lacked in material wealth, they made up for in heart and music. In their small home, music was a constant presence, a lifeline that brought joy to difficult days. His father, Onal Vasquez, played a significant role in shaping Sofronio's passion. Onal wasn't just his dad, he was Sofronio's first coach, the person who introduced him to the power of song. They would spend hours singing together, creating a bond that Sofronio cherished. Music was their shared language, a way to escape the hardships of everyday life. But life wasn't easy in Mindoro. Growing up in poverty taught Sofronio resilience. He learned to dream despite the odds, though those dreams didn't always involve music. As a child, Sofronio didn't imagine himself on a stage. Instead, he saw a future in dentistry, a career that seemed stable and attainable. He worked hard in school and eventually earned a degree in dentistry from Ms. Amos University. In 2015, Sofronio started his career as a dental hygienist, dedicating himself to helping others. He took pride in his work, but deep down, something was missing: music. The passion that had defined his relationship with his father lingered in the background, calling to him. Then tragedy struck. Onal passed away, leaving Sofronio heartbroken. His father's death became a turning point. It pushed Sofronio to rethink his path. How could he honor the man who had meant so much to him? The answer was clear: music. In 2017, Sofronio decided to take a leap of faith. He auditioned for Tawagang Tanghalan, a singing competition on the popular Filipino variety show at Showtime. For someone who had spent years focused on dentistry, stepping onto a stage was a bold move. Sofronio's performances showcased his powerful voice and emotional depth. He advanced to the competition's second season and finished in 7th place. It wasn't a victory, but it was enough to ignite a spark. Not one to give up, Sofronio returned to the competition in 2019 for the Tawagang Tanghalan All-Star Grand Respac. This time, he placed 3rd. It was a moment of validation, proof that his voice could captivate an audience. But Sofronio knew he had more to give. He wasn't just singing for himself, he was singing for his father, for his family, and for every dream he had ever dared to believe in. Despite his growing success, Sofronio faced a tough choice. Singing was his passion, but it wasn't paying the bills. He had responsibilities to his family and a career in dentistry that he couldn't ignore. For a while, he tried to balance both worlds, but it wasn't easy. By 2022, he made a life-altering decision. He would leave the Philippines and move to the United States. It was a leap into the unknown, a chance to chase his dreams while providing for his loved ones. Sofronio settled in Utica, New York, where he began working as a dental assistant. The move wasn't just about career opportunities, it was about finding a community that felt like home. Sofronio often said that Utica welcomed him with open arms. The warmth and diversity of the city reminded him of the Philippines in some ways, and he quickly grew attached to his new surroundings. Starting over in a foreign country came with its challenges. In the Philippines, Sofronio was starting to gain recognition for his talent. In the US, he was just another newcomer trying to make ends meet. It was humbling, but it also fueled his determination. He juggled long hours at the dental office with late-night rehearsals, pouring every ounce of energy into his craft. Sofronio's hard work began to pay off in unexpected ways. He started posting videos of his performances online, covering songs that resonated with people around the world. His rendition of That's What Friends Are For went viral on Facebook, amassing over 9 million views. Another cover, Nothing's Gonna Change My Love For You, gained over 1 million views on TikTok. These moments reminded Sofronio that his voice had the power to move people no matter where he was. Still, Sofronio wanted more. He wanted to prove that he could compete on the world's biggest stages. That's when he set his sights on The Voice. Sofronio had auditioned for singing competitions before, including The Voice of the Philippines, but his journey in those earlier attempts ended in disappointment. No one had turned their chair for him. But instead of letting that rejection define him, Sofronio used it as motivation. He told himself, "Next time, I'll be ready." By the time Sofronio auditioned for The Voice in 2024, he wasn't just a hopeful contestant. He was a man with a story, a voice, and a determination that couldn't be ignored. His performance of Elvis Presley's If I Can Dream left the coaches stunned. It wasn't just his vocal range that impressed them, it was the emotion he poured into every note. Michael B., one of the coaches, later praised Sofronio for his resilience, saying, "Through all of this adversity, you walk out here and take the brass ring. I'm just so happy for you." That moment marked the beginning of a journey that would change Sofronio's life forever. When Sofronio Vasquez stepped onto the stage of The Voice Season 26, no one knew just how much of an impact he would make. But the moment he began his blind audition with Mary J. Blige's I'm Going Down, it was clear that something special was happening. Within seconds, the judges, Snoop Dogg, Michael B., Reba McEntire, and Gwen Stefani, hit their buttons. The rare four-chair turn set the tone for what would be a truly unforgettable journey. Reba McEntire spoke first, her voice full of admiration. "Your voice is like butter," she told Sofronio. "It's so easy on the ears, but your soulfulness touched my heart." Snoop Dogg added his signature energy, calling Sofronio a natural-born star. Gwen Stefani, not one to be outdone, praised his rich tone and control. But it was Michael B. who made the connection that would define the rest of the season. Speaking in Sofronio's native Filipino, Michael greeted him with salamat, which means thank you. He went on to say, "Your people are such beautiful people. I can't even imagine how proud you're going to make them." Those words struck a chord with Sofronio, and when it was time to pick his coach, he chose Michael without hesitation. It was a full-circle moment for the Filipino singer who had admired Michael for years. From there, Sofronio's journey on The Voice became a master class in resilience and growth. The battle rounds were his next challenge, and he was paired with Aaliyah Kalin to perform The Power of Love. Their voices blended beautifully, but it was Sofronio's ability to deliver raw emotion that caught Michael's attention. He chose Sofronio as the winner of the battle, moving him one step closer to his dream. The competition only got tougher during the three-way knockouts. Sofronio faced off against Kiera Vega and Jeremy Belloy. Each contestant brought their A-game, but Sofronio's performance of You Don't Have to Say You Love Me left the audience and judges in awe. He poured his soul into every note, and Michael once again chose him to advance. It was becoming clear that Sofronio wasn't just a great singer, he was a storyteller, someone who could make you feel every word he sang. By the time the playoffs arrived, Sofronio had already proven himself as a front-runner. His rendition of Roy Orbison's Crying was a standout moment. With his velvety tone and impeccable control, he took a classic song and made it his own. The audience could feel his heartache, his passion, and his determination. Michael described the performance as perfection, and America agreed, voting him into the semifinals. Throughout the season, Sofronio built strong bonds with his fellow contestants and his mentor. Despite the pressure of the competition, he found a second family on The Voice. Sofronio often spoke about how much he missed his real family back in the Philippines and in Utica, New York, but the support he received from Michael and his teammates helped ease that pain. "Michael is so genuine," Sofronio said in one interview. "He makes me feel like I'm home, even when I'm far away." Michael, in turn, praised Sofronio for his work ethic and heart. "He's not just talented," Michael said. "He's someone who brings his whole soul to every performance. It's a blessing to work with him." That mutual respect and admiration were evident every time they shared the stage or spoke about each other. As the competition narrowed, Sofronio continued to evolve. Each performance was more polished, more heartfelt, and more powerful than the last. During the live shows, his rendition of Elvis Presley's If I Can Dream showcased not only his vocal range but also his ability to connect with the audience. The song's message of hope and resilience mirrored Sofronio's own journey, and it became one of the defining moments of his time on The Voice. By now, America had fallen in love with the Filipino singer who never gave up on his dream. Sofronio's story of overcoming adversity resonated with viewers, and his performances consistently delivered. When he reached the semi-finals, it was no surprise. His soulful take on Sia's Unstoppable earned him a standing ovation from the audience and high praise from the judges. "You're proving every week why you belong here, you're unstoppable," Michael told him. As the finals approached, Sofronio reflected on how far he had come. "The hardest part of this journey has been being away from my family," he admitted. "But the most beautiful part is the family I found here. The Voice family has been incredible." He also spoke about the lessons he had learned. "In the Philippines, we have a different music scene. Coming here, I had to adapt. I realized it's not about being the loudest or the flashiest, it's about singing from the heart." With each passing week, Sofronio's confidence grew. He wasn't just competing anymore, he was inspiring. His journey on The Voice had become a symbol of hope for dreamers everywhere, especially for those in his home country. As the final week of the competition loomed, Sofronio stood ready to give everything he had. He had come so far, and he wasn't about to stop now. The moment Sofronio Vasquez's name was announced as the winner of The Voice Season 26, time seemed to stand still. He stood on the brightly lit stage, surrounded by confetti, overwhelmed by cheers and applause as the weight of his journey finally sunk in. "I'm just so happy," Sofronio later shared, his voice trembling with emotion. "I never thought this moment would exist, and yet here I am." For Sofronio, the finale wasn't just about winning, it was about everything he had overcome to get there. Earlier in the night, he had delivered two performances that left the audience in awe. First, his soulful rendition of Sia's Unstoppable showed his ability to connect deeply with a modern hit while showcasing his vocal power. Then, with A Million Dreams from The Greatest Showman, he brought the house down. His voice soared through every note, his emotions spilling over, making it impossible not to root for him. Michael, his coach, called it the perfect performance. But the road to that triumphant moment wasn't easy. As Sofronio stood next to his teammate Shai, the other finalist from Team Michael, the tension was palpable. "It was the most nerve-wracking moment of my life," he admitted. Shai had been a strong competitor throughout the season, and both singers had built a genuine friendship. When the host finally revealed his name as the winner, Sofronio's emotions poured out. He hugged Michael tightly, tears streaming down his face as the realization of his victory hit him. Michael, who had coached Sofronio through every step of the competition, couldn't hide his pride. "This is the best experience of my life," he said during the post-show interviews. "Sofronio worked so hard, and he deserves every bit of this." It was a historic win for both of them. Sofronio became the first Filipino-born winner of The Voice, and Michael secured his first victory as a coach in his debut season. "We did it together," Michael said, "and this is just the beginning."